Okay, so the price is dropping indeed below that level of support at $37. So again, back to what I was talking about earlier today, synthetic price failure incoming. I was a little worried about this. I didn't anticipate the price jumping up to $38, 38 and some, almost $39 before moving down. Let me just make sure I have this incorporated into my charts. 38.77. Yep. Okay. So basically from 29.40 on 8/11 to 8/17 today, we've had a 31.9% increase in price. This is the time where you start recording new lows. Currently, we're at 36.59, and from our high of 38.77, that is a drop of 5.6%. So, we're 1/4 of the way, a little over 1/4 of the way to a synthetic price failure. This is where they try to generate paper hands. So they artificially raise the price up to some point, generate people coming in and buying shares, and then dump. This is what happens here is they get those people to sell, and because of that, those people who just newly moved into new positions with AMC suddenly sell. So it does part of the work for them in dropping the price. So ultimately, if we see a price drop of 23%, then you've lost like 3% of the population roughly. Not the total population, but you've lost 3% of that population of shares that might have been purchased during that initial price rise. So, but yeah, it's not by any means 3% of the total population in shares. It's just a portion of the people who are new or more paper-handed, or have tendencies to be paper-handed. Now, the hopes there, or the idea behind this psychological attack, is that you get it's like tossing a snowball. Oh, I'm putting a bookmark down on this one. Snowball. That's what I'm calling this one. Uh, it's like tossing a snowball down the hill, right? And as the snowball tumbles down the hill, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and until suddenly you have this gigantic, just snowball rolling down the hill, like we've all seen in cartoons. So that's what the purpose of these synthetic price failures is for. They want to get this price down as low as, they want to try and do this repeatedly over and over and over, where they get more people to fold their shares. Uh, you know, the hopes is that they can continue to get more and more people to sell off. We have about 83 cents left before we are back down to even for the day. SPF, synthetic price failures. They're rough. Um, but I think it's to me it's encouraging to see that they're consistent. I love consistency. What's really difficult on me is when numbers do things they're not supposed to do. I don't like that. I like it when I see patterns that repeat themselves over and over and over. Those make me happy, um, because to me those are um, those are patterns that are in control, and I like in control patterns. It's just the nature. It's the nature of the line of work that I come from, that wants me to have patterns that are in control. When I see out of control patterns, I think warning flags. It's just the way that I've so many years of doing what it is that I've done. So let's talk about this. I'm gonna bookmark this moment. We'll talk about it real quick because I just kind of want to I want to kind of give you guys some information um, about post MOASS, right? And some of the things that I've kind of researched on. I don't know if you guys have looked into what it is that you want to do with your money after the MOASS, but one of the things that you have to be worried about is that the FDIC only covers up to a certain amount of money, um, in your bank account before they won't cover or protect it any longer. And if the market gets extremely volatile and the economy crashes, I would not trust my money in anything that's FDIC insured. So there are companies like Charles Schwab. Now, I've since learned that Charles Schwab is pretty sketchy on how they've been kind of manipulating some of the stuff that's been happening in the market lately. So they're kind of anti-ape a little bit, and so I kind of feel weird about putting my money there. But I'll tell you what, they do have programs there, and there that will insure up to $20 million per account. So if you didn't want to have to create a whole bunch of accounts to put your money into, that's an option. Charles Schwab. I don't have any links to them whatsoever. I did call them and talk to them. I do not have an account yet. They keep trying to talk me into getting and opening an account. They said it's free. I can open an account and just have it there so that I can at least play around with a lot of the stuff before the different trading tools that they have before I get into their stock. Um, I did tell them that I didn't tell them what I had a position in. I told them that I was going to, be walking away from my position in the future, in the near future, I was hoping, and that I would have probably somewhere I was guesstimating somewhere in the range of $20 million to invest into or put into an account. And so they told me that they had just the thing for me, and so it's I've had some contact with them, and they've been really nice. In fact, one of the guys offered to send me and the family to a box game, a baseball game here locally. Just so he could get to meet me, which I'm sure is kind of like what they would do for people who are bringing in big amounts of money like that. But I declined the offer because I kind of feel like it's disingenuous to say that you have money that you're bringing in when you don't have it yet. So I told him I didn't want to quite do that yet, that I wasn't quite ready. So I put that off. Let's see. Oh, all right, cool, awesome. I didn't realize that's the neighbor. Expense ratio. Yeah, I've been looking at a couple different places to put my money after this is all done. I think that's really important to start investigating those kind of things right now because you don't want to get caught in a situation where you have a whole bunch of money and you don't know what to do with it all of a sudden. You don't like don't let yourself get caught blindsided by uh, large amounts of wealth and not have a plan already in place. Like now is the time to start making those kind of plans. Where am I going to be putting my money? How am I going to I thought it was real interesting when I talked to Charles Schwab's guys. They were talking about mitigating tax. Uh, I forget what the words were that they used exactly, but essentially, what I say, trying to pay the least amount of taxes. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that you need to start thinking about now because there are things that you're potentially going to have to deal with down the road here, and you don't want to get caught with your pants down on that kind of thing. You know, no, no, you don't pay me anything. Uh, what we're going to do is we're going to learn together. We're not going to pay. There's no need to pay. We're all going to be plenty of rich enough to that we're just going to learn from each other. That's what this is all about. So, one of the things I thought would be really fun to do is post squeeze, a continuation of the channel afterwards is learning about what are apes doing? Uh, how are they protecting themselves? How are they impacting the community around them? There's a lot of things that a lot of people you could interview and talk to them about what's happening in the future, and that's something I would love to do. I'd love to go around and talk to people and find out like how they're helping their community and with their ape money, and uh, just I don't know. There's a lot of potential. These are all just kind of brainstorming ideas that I've had about the future, but I really don't know where I'm going to go with this. Yeah, I think it was last week that I was saying that I wanted to buy an option at either I wanted to buy two options at 40 or one option. No, I'm sorry, two options at 80 or one option at 40, and it was seeming like it was a better deal to buy one at 80. That probably would have been the way to go if I would have done it. If we end up having a gamma squeeze that starts up this week, Friday could be like, you know, we could see those kind of numbers. This is bullish.